Thank you very much for joining us on the program. It was a horrible tale at a Nairobi hotel on Tuesday when gunmen opened fire. They set off a bomb before opening fire at the complex, leaving at least 15 people dead. The attack at Nairobi Dusit Hotel began around 3:30 p.m. and that was on Tuesday afternoon with a huge explosion outside the property. Gunmen then charged onto the grounds and opened fire. Security forces in response then combed their way through the building, with reports saying frightened workers had barricaded themselves inside. Around 30 persons are said to be injured from the attack, and the Somali-based militant group Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for the attack in an online statement.
The attack in Riverside, an upscale neighborhood of Nairobi, began at around 3 p.m. local time on Tuesday. An unknown number of attackers set off 2 explosions and gunfire as they stormed the complex, housing a hotel, offices and restaurants. It sent people scampering for safety. Security forces and journalists helped to evacuate the injured. Black smoke could be seen rising from the scene of the attack as gunfire rang out.
We can now confirm that this criminal activity commenced at about 3 o'clock in a coordinated fashion that began with an attack at I&M Bank with an explosion that targeted 3 vehicles in the parking lot and a suicide explosion in the foyer of Dusit Hotel.
Kenya's elite counter-terrorism forces were also mobilized to counter the attackers, as survivors narrated horrifying ordeals.
I said, I was just going in the toilets. When I came out, I just saw a lot of smoke. Even I didn't see even clearly. Okay, trying to look through the smoke. It's like only I see a dead body.
Later on Tuesday, hospitals in Nairobi launched an appeal for blood donors as ambulance services delivered the injured to receive treatment. An Al-Shabaab spokesman told Al Jazeera the group was behind the attack shortly after it had begun. Kenya has faced a spate of attacks after it sent its military into Somalia in 2011 to fight the Al-Qaeda-linked group.
Well, not so good since then, Kenya. But it should be noted that this attack took place as a Kenyan court prepares to sentence 4 men accused of aiding the Westgate Mall attack in 2013 that claimed the lives of 67 people. The Kenyan government is yet to release the official death toll of the Dusit D2 hotel attack, though several media sources indicate at least 15 people were killed. On the other hand, the Al-Shabaab militants claim this number could be higher.
Abdullahi Halake is a security expert and policy analyst on Africa. He's with us now from Washington, D.C. via Skype. A warm welcome to you, Abdullahi. The attack at a hotel complex in Nairobi came just after trial of the Westgate suspects opened. What was your immediate reaction seeing this, seeing the news, hearing the news?
Yeah, I think my immediate reaction was January 15th is the 3rd anniversary of El Adi attack by Al-Shabaab inside Mogadishu, inside Somalia. So before it was confirmed, I was worried that this was what it was going to be. But once the group, accepted responsibility, then it made sense that despite it being depleted, despite the group lacking, political and military agenda, this group can still conduct low-tech, high-casualty kind of attack inside Kenya. Because, let's face it, there is no one country that is 100% immune from terrorist attacks. Because the chances of attacking you, they only need a success rate of 1%. And even if you're 99% of the times safe, that 1% for them is a victory, but for you it's still a loss. So I think that was the first thing that came to mind.
Well, Abdullahi, the Al-Shabaab terrorist organization was quick to claim responsibility for this attack, but some quarters believe that they may not be responsible. Are there any reasons for this argument to hold?
I think it's very difficult to agree with that line of thinking, precisely because This group has done so many, horrible things, but one of the things that they do not do, at least, is to claim responsibility for an attack that they didn't conduct. In the past, we've actually struggled with the government not accepting that such attacks have been carried out by this group. But I think this has got the hallmark of Al-Shabaab. It's a place that is visited by, fair amount of well-to-do Kenyans and foreigners. And it's not very far. The distance from Riverside and Westgate Mall I think it's almost around 5 kilometers. So it's not that far. And on the anniversary, no less. So I think I'll be hard-pressed for these attacks not to be conducted by this group.
Abdullahi, what does this attack say about Kenya-Somali relations, especially regarding security?
I think there is a reason for serious, discussions, very frank discussions between Kenya and Somalia, how long the Kenya's operation will last, because you cannot have an indefinite military operation. They have to define what success looks like, and based on that, they also have to define what an exit plan looks like. But it's not just the Kenyans. This also puts a spotlight on African Union, which has looked at the Somali operation, the AMISOM, as this also transfers a spotlight on the African Union that has looked at this operation inside Somalia, the AMISOM, as an African solution to an African problem. Therefore, if this number of military personnel, not just in Kenyans, but Burundians as well as Ugandans, we have to ask serious questions of what is going on there. But the one that I'm worried about is really, the change in the relations inside, or at least attitude towards Kenyans who are living inside, Kenyan Somalis living inside Kenya. I hope there will be a restraint in the way people respond. I hope there will be a restraint in the way the military and security agencies respond to the Somalis who are living, Kenyan Somalis living in Kenya, but also the Somali refugees who are living in the Dadaab refugee complex.